You won't believe what's happening behind closed doors in Washington. What started as a simple legal challenge has now exploded into a full-blown battle that could change the way we view military accountability forever. Senator Mark Kelly, a retired Navy captain, is taking on the Department of Defense, and this isn't just about one man. Kelly is fighting for something bigger, the rights of every retired service member to speak out without the constant threat of losing their rank, pay, or reputation. And it's all happening because of Secretary of Defense Pete Hegsth's aggressive attempt to go after Kelly for something as simple as telling the truth. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. This case could set a dangerous precedent for how veterans are treated from here on out. If Hegsth gets away with it, it'll open the door for the government to go after anyone who dares question the military just because they don't like what was said. Stay with me, because what's unfolding here isn't just a courtroom drama. It's a glimpse at a much larger power struggle. So what's really going on here? It all started with one statement. Senator Mark Kelly simply told military members that they have a duty to refuse unlawful orders. That's it. But Pete Hegsth, the Secretary of Defense, saw it as an attack. And that's where this story takes a darker turn. You see, Kelly's not just fighting for his own freedom. This is about every veteran who's ever served this country and their right to speak freely without fear of punishment. Hegsth is trying to set an example, making Kelly a target to send a message. But here's the problem. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a much bigger pattern. This goes far beyond just one man making a statement. It's about a system that's starting to crack under pressure, and it's about how much power one individual has to silence a voice that's uncomfortable. The real question is, who's next? Now, let's get one thing straight. This isn't just a disagreement between Kelly and Hegsth. It's a full-on attack on the very principles of military integrity. The Department of Defense made it clear they were coming after Kelly with everything they had. They threatened to strip him of his rank, his pay, even his reputation. But here's the shocking part. Those threats, they were built on nothing. Absolutely nothing. The Department of Defense has since walked back every single one of those claims. They've done a complete 180, and now it's clear this wasn't about justice. It was about control. And notice what they didn't deny. This isn't about a man breaking the law. It's about using fear to keep everyone in line. The truth is, Kelly didn't break a single rule. Yet the Pentagon still tried to crush him for speaking his mind. This wasn't a legal fight. It was a calculated move to intimidate anyone who might challenge the status quo. Now, let's watch how this escalates. This isn't just a personal vendetta. It's a warning shot. The government isn't just targeting Kelly. They're sending a message to anyone who's ever served in the military. Think back to the last time a high-ranking officer stood up and spoke out against the system. Remember General Milley? He made headlines for defying the former president's orders, yet for the most part, the military went silent. Now, why is that? This is becoming the new normal. Threatening people who speak up, making them pay with their reputation, their income, even their peace of mind. It's a strategy that's beginning to feel way too familiar. It's not just a few bad apples. This is a pattern emerging in real time, where the cost of speaking out is becoming too high for anyone to risk. And that should scare you, because if this becomes the new normal, the next time someone speaks truth to power, they might not just be silenced, they'll be punished. But here's where it gets even worse. The truth? Kelly isn't alone in this fight. There's a much deeper agenda at play here, and it's not just about one man's battle against a corrupt system. It's about the power struggle that could change the military, the government, and your freedoms. The Pentagon isn't just making empty threats anymore. They've walked back their court-martial talk, but only after the public backlash. Now, they're left with what? An administrative punishment. And that right there tells you everything you need to know about this case. They have no legal standing. They have no evidence. What they have is a desire to control. And here's why that detail changes everything. This is the same tactic used to crush dissent and maintain unchecked power. If they can go after someone as respected as Kelly, someone who's spent decades serving this country, what's stopping them from going after anyone else who dares speak out? This isn't just about Kelly's reputation. It's about the future of military veterans and their right to challenge authority. Now, let's see just how quickly things are unraveling. First, the Pentagon tries to silence Kelly with threats of a court-martial. Then they backtrack. But what happens next? They move to an administrative punishment, which is their last-ditch effort when they can't find anything else to charge you with. But this is just the beginning of a pattern. And it doesn't stop there. We've already seen what happens when the system starts to crack. We've heard about top generals staying silent. We've heard about veterans fearing for their livelihoods. Just this year, we've seen Governor Tim Walz pull back from re-election because the personal cost of opposing the regime became too much. It's not just about losing a political seat, it's about losing everything. What happens if this continues? Well, we're seeing it unfold right now. More and more people are falling in line, not because they agree, but because they're scared of what will happen to them if they don't. This is how the pressure builds, and it's not stopping anytime soon. Now, let's bring this home. This isn't just about the political elite or military brass. It's about you, the everyday person. Imagine being in Kelly's shoes, having served your country with honor, only to be threatened with losing everything because you spoke out. It's not just his fight. It's the fight of every military member, every veteran, every American who believes in the right to free speech. And here's where it hits hardest. It's not just about the potential loss of rank or pay. It's about the real human consequences, the fear of retaliation, the strain on families, the isolation. And if you think this doesn't affect you, think again. Because when the system starts punishing people for speaking the truth, it sets a dangerous precedent for all of us. If this feels familiar, say so in the comments. You might not be in Kelly's position, but we're all vulnerable when a government starts weaponizing its power to silence dissent. Now, let's take a step back. It's easy to get caught up in the outrage of the moment, but there's something much deeper happening here. This isn't just about one man fighting against the system. It's about the system itself. Why is this happening? Why does the Pentagon feel so confident in using its power to crush dissent? It all comes down to leverage. The Pentagon holds a huge amount of power over veterans, particularly those with long careers. It's not just about legal threats, it's about fear. And that fear is what allows those in power to maintain control. When they can intimidate people into silence, they don't have to worry about the truth coming out. They don't have to worry about accountability. But here's the unsettling truth. The system works this way because it can. It's designed to protect those at the top, and it thrives on keeping people in line. The stakes are much higher than just Kelly's case. This is about how power operates behind the scenes and how easy it is to manipulate the system when the consequences of speaking out are too high. So where does this go from here? There are two paths we could be on, and both are crucial. One path is what we've seen before. The system tightens its grip, silencing anyone who dares challenge it, using fear and punishment to maintain control. If that happens, the message is clear. No one is safe. No one is immune from the reach of power. It would mark the beginning of a new, darker chapter where speaking out isn't just dangerous, it's unthinkable. But there's another path, one where the people push back, where the truth breaks through and the legal and political systems have no choice but to hold the powerful accountable. This path is far from guaranteed. In fact, it's looking more uncertain by the day. But it's the only one that restores any faith in fairness, in justice, in freedom. The question is, which path will we take? Because the decisions being made today will shape the future of this country. And make no mistake, this fight is already deciding how things will unfold tomorrow. In the end, this isn't just about a lawsuit or a political feud. It's about the very fabric of what we believe this country stands for: freedom of speech, the ability to hold power accountable, and the right for every individual, whether they're in uniform or not, to speak their truth without fear of retribution. What's happening with Kelly isn't an isolated incident. It's a warning that we can no longer take our freedoms for granted. But there's hope. Because as long as people like Kelly are willing to stand up, the fight is far from over. The real question is, how far are we willing to let this go? How long will we stand by while power tries to crush dissent? The next move is already in motion, and it's on all of us to decide whether we'll let it slip away or if we'll fight to ensure it's never allowed to happen again. If you want to see more of these deep dives into the issues shaping our future, hit that subscribe button. There's so much more to uncover, and together we can keep the conversation going.